In the hush before dawn, we gather to meet the Holy One. You were never a random pick. Their attention is pinned to you now, some from a distance, others only in the tremor that runs through people who suddenly understand the one they underestimated has learned to unlock doors. What you hold as the story of your beginnings will splinter when three separate ancestral branches interlace. A person very close to you will admit something that snaps your earliest memories into alignment, like a shattered mirror set carefully back into its frame. First, a heads up about the call that's about to come through. Pick the line and stay razor alert, while I'm about to map out runs in braided channels, stacked like transparent slides, and each layer will usher you into a corridor of facts so stark that hardened professionals have shelved their practiced bravado while they wait for it to surface. The biography you carry, the skills you thought were fixed, and the aim you've sworn by are on the cusp of being redrawn by 7 distinct disclosures. When they land, your inner compass will whirl and settle somewhere you never charted. Yoga hasn't been loud by accident. It's been pounding on the door. The way certain faces hesitate to meet your gaze is no coincidence. Those night scenes unspooling behind your eyelids aren't random either. Somewhere along your lineage, someone is wearing a track in the floorboards, rehearsing sentences they may never let cross their tongue. They've watched you gather power and skill, and they understand that your rising demands they finally shoulder what has always been theirs. However, they are unaware that their confession isn't as shocking as they believe it to be. It's only the fuse. In the meantime, for months, 3 particular people have been experiencing the same nightmare regarding you. In their dreams, you find yourself standing in a room filled with mirrors, each of which represents a different age, young adult, teen, or toddler. And with eyes that see everything, you're staring right at them in every reflection. They know those mirrors are going to come to pass, so they wake up yelling. And in another place, someone you have great faith in is going to come clean and tell you that they have been shielding you from a truth so explosive that discovering it would either destroy you or make you into something unstoppable. They fear that it could be both. Let me now demonstrate how the force of divine justice is poised to bring these disparate realities together. Normalcy was never intended for you. You carried something that made strong people protective and weak people frantic from the minute you took your first breath. You weren't merely pure in your innocence. It was power, unadulterated spiritual electricity that could reveal shadows people had hidden for their entire lives or light up entire rooms. However, the combination of power and innocence makes some people completely needy and psychotic. Since they were unable to simply steal your goods, they used a far darker approach. By holding you accountable for their emotional stability, they persuaded you to voluntarily turn them over. You became their confessor each time they felt bad. You became their remedy whenever they felt broken. You became their source of control whenever they felt helpless. And because that's what chosen ones do, you, lovely chosen soul, gave and gave and gave. Friend, I believe this is your set time for increase. If this message has lifted your faith, would you sow a simple seed today? Right now, tap the Super Thanks button and give $20, $50, or whatever God puts on your heart. You're not paying a bill. You're planting a seed. Your gift helps us spread hope, build faith, and reach more people every week. The word says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." Luke 6 verse 38, KJV. That's not hype, that's scripture. When you release what's in your hand, God can release what's in His. As you give, I'm praying favor over your life, open doors, fresh opportunities, and peace in your house. Sow in faith. Expect God to move. And after you give, drop a testimony in the comments so we can celebrate what He's doing in you. Unaware that we are being methodically depleted, we pour ourselves dry until we are completely empty. This is where it becomes really unsettling. They wanted more than just your vitality. They had to conceal their darkness in a place where no one could ever find it. Their ideal concealment was created by your light. Every deplorable deed they did, every perverse craving they carried, every vicious inclination they were unable to confront in themselves. Like a cosmic landfill, they dumped everything into your naive soul. They forced you to endure the weight of their faults while persuading you that it was somehow your own fault. This explains why, from an early age, you felt accountable for the feelings of others. For this reason, when someone gets upset, you automatically apologize. This is the reason you've dedicated your life to mending broken people who have only made you worse off. You weren't only a random energy-collecting empath. You were purposefully designed to serve as a storehouse for the evil they couldn't bear to recognize within themselves. The first thing that will blow your mind is this: everyone who has ever crossed your boundaries was unwittingly acting in accordance with the same pattern. Their attacks on your innocence weren't planned, but they all employed the same strategies. All of them made you feel guilty and special at the same time. All of them broke boundaries while deceiving you that they didn't. They all forced you to apologize for your bleeding while stealing fragments of your soul. This is not an accident. It's orchestration on a level that will make your skin crawl when you finally see the pattern trump inch in the pattern. They will tell you about discussions that took place about you, choices that were made about your future, and agreements that were reached about your gifts. You'll learn why certain relationships didn't work out, why some possibilities didn't materialize, and why other people abruptly stopped being friendly after listening to what they have to say. However, the cascade effect, something much more explosive, will be set off by that conversation. At least 4 persons in your immediate vicinity are currently carrying pieces of a puzzle that they are unaware they own. Each one contains a piece of the truth about what was done to you in a methodical manner. Additionally, the caller will experience an activation from your talk that will cause these fragments to come to the surface. They will begin to remember things they have suppressed, see patterns they have overlooked, and make connections between things they were taught never to make. Your perception of your own abilities will be completely upended by the second revelation. Your years of trauma did not leave your spiritual gifts dormant. They were being picked. Your discernment was being misdirected each time you felt perplexed rather than outraged. You were inverting your justice system each time you placed the responsibility on yourself rather than them. Your healing power was being used against you each time you attempted to mend them rather than defend yourself. They transformed your strongest points into your weakest points, and they were so good at it that you praised them for the opportunity. However, chosen ones possess a certain quality that predators never take into account. We are not clean breakers. We don't disperse into lost fragments when we break. We break into jagged pieces that sever whatever they come into contact with. Your gifts were not destroyed by your trauma. They are terrified beyond words because it shaped them into precise weapons that can cut through deceit, like light through shadow. Yellow heart if you're moved by divine love. Now is the moment to share it. Click the Super Thanks button on YouTube and contribute $50 or more to help us broadcast God's blessings far and wide. Every act of generosity you make is being watched in heaven and will return to you 100-fold. You're going to find out that the 3 people who are having dreams about you are related in ways that will make you furious. The third will be contacted by 2 of them, who will compare notes regarding their dreams. They will also be forced to face their involvement in a conspiracy they were unaware of as a result of what they discover. This is going to completely change the way you see the world. There were discussions regarding you, real talks with grown-ups about how to deal with your predicament. Others wished to cultivate your talents. Some wished to keep them in check. Some sought to take advantage of them. They all concurred, however, that you could never be let to realize your actual power while you were still too young to exercise it. The most terrifying aspect? You weren't being plotted against by strangers. These individuals professed to adore you. Those who, while secretly planning how to keep you little, tucked you into bed and told you stories before bed. They talked about you as though you were a precious resource that needed to be controlled rather than a Holy Spirit that needed to be safeguarded. They talked about your sensitivity and actions as issues to be resolved rather than as blessings to be honored. Decades later, one of them is planning to come clean and tell you everything, not because their conscience has finally caught up with them, but rather because it is now riskier to keep these secrets than to tell them. As you awaken, they see how your newfound power makes their previous existence more precarious. Instead of risking you learning the truth on your own terms, they would prefer to dictate the story of their confession. The final realization, gathering steam in the back of your mind, was that every betrayal you went through was a test, not from the cosmos, but from them. Before you broke, they needed to know how much you could take. In order to dance right up to the edge without pushing you over it, they had to map your breaking points. They needed you to be puzzled but not enlightened, shocked but not vindictive, and wounded but functional. You were the subject and the lab rat of a psychological experiment that they conducted during your entire youth. The fact that their experiment would eventually backfire in ways that would ruin them was something they never expected. Your susceptibility to deceit increased with each threshold they crossed. Your intuition was educated to recognize deception by every lie they told you. You were actually becoming more adept at seeing through illusions every time they caused you to doubt your own senses. They unintentionally created something they could never control, even if they believed they were weakening you. A selected individual who had received vaccinations against all manipulation attempts they could make. It's a beautiful irony. The same thing that made you unbreakable was their attempts to break you. Light was able to enter through every fissure they made in your spirit. Each injury they caused served as a gateway to greater understanding. Every transgression they made against your innocence was unintentionally contributing to your fate as the one who would ultimately reveal and destroy their entire abuse system. This is where their meticulously planned strategies run into the one thing they didn't account for. Those who are chosen don't remain shattered forever, and divine timing doesn't ask for permission. The critical mass of the cascade is approaching. It's almost time for someone to come clean and tell you everything, not because they have developed a conscience, though some have, but rather because it is now more fearful to remain silent than to proclaim the truth. They are observing you as you recall fragments they believed to be lost forever. They're watching you make connections between things they've spent a lot of money keeping apart. They're seeing your presence come back in ways that make their initial theft seem like a piece of cake. And they are aware that the light you are about to shine will dispel their cozy falsehoods once you see the whole picture. The fourth realization, ready to shatter all your preconceived notions about your past. You weren't alone. Others were present. Other selected members of your family. Other talented kids in your neighborhood. Before they could light up the darkness around them, other bright souls were methodically darkened. However, you are the only one who has lived to take action. They are unable to sleep because of this. They are experiencing panic attacks because of this. Because of this, some of them are thinking about hiding, running, or worse, because they are aware that the selected ones don't simply recover when they eventually comprehend the extent of what was done to them. They transform into natural forces that alter whole mental landscapes. Beneath these insights lies something much more nefarious, something that will cause you to doubt everything and everyone you have ever trusted. Do you recall the individual I mentioned who has been shielding you from a confronting reality? They're going to show you that your pain was generational, not just personal. For generations, your ancestry has been reiterating the same patterns that almost destroyed you. And the first person selected who is capable of ending the cycle is you. Healing alone, however, is not enough to lift generational curses. Justice is necessary. Furthermore, justice, true divine justice, does not resemble the sterile forgiveness they have been hoping you will accept. See, they have been pleading with whatever powers will listen, actually bending down on their knees, that you will pick the spiritually bypassed route. They hope you will become one of those healed souls who only talk about love and light, who forgive without holding people accountable, who turn trauma into insight, and who don't demand that those who caused it face penalties. They want you to be so enlightened that you absolve them of all accountability for their deeds, so evolved that you surpass the need for earthly justice. However, divine justice does not function in accordance with their comfort zones or redemption schedules. Allowing natural consequences to occur is necessary for true forgiveness, the type that genuinely heals rather than enables. It requires those who defiled innocence to bear the consequences of their actions. It demands that predators be revealed for the sake of future innocent safety, as well as the recovery of their victims. The thing that scares them the most is that you're growing up enough to understand the difference between forgiveness that promotes divine order and forgiveness that helps them avoid responsibility. They're starting to see that your path to recovery is guiding you to a place where you can empathize with their pain while remaining steadfast in your resolve to hold them accountable for their deeds. Dove brothers and sisters, everything done in faith multiplies in God's abundance. Use the Super Thanks feature to donate $100 today and join this sacred mission. When your roots are grounded in Him, your fruit will flourish, and your offering becomes a seed that bears blessed harvests. Your entire universe will be appended by the fifth discovery. Journals, photographs, videos, and paperwork are among the records they kept that show not only what they did to you, but also how they improved their techniques with each selected victim they came across. A few of these documents will soon come to light in ways that will offer proof that even judicial systems cannot disregard. The twist that is going to burn your soul is that you will not be the one to reveal them. You're getting ready for something much more potent than retaliation. What you're being formed into will make their lies hard to uphold, their secrets unsustainable, and their exposure unavoidable. The one who is about to confess to you is doing more than simply admitting their part in your trauma. They are going to give you access to a system of abuse that goes well beyond your own experience. They will demonstrate to you the methodical targeting, nurturing, and harvesting of chosen ones over several generations. They will also explain your part in taking down the entire business. Because, chosen one, that's what you are. Not merely a survivor, but a divine demolition specialist sent to demolish dark constructions that have stood for far too long. The fact that you are not the first person they have targeted will make your blood run cold. For generations, this system of nurturing, selecting, and stifling talented individuals has been in place. Over the course of decades, they have improved their techniques, learning from each selected one they were able to break and modifying their plans in response to each escapee. However, they made a crucial mistake with you. They didn't realize how much power they were up against. One or two of your gifts may have been born by earlier chosen ones, but you are a point of confluence, a soul bearing the combined strength of all the chosen ones who came before you. You're doing more than just mending your own injuries. You bear the unresolved healing of a whole family of talented individuals who were silenced before they could finish their missions. This explains why your healing process has occasionally felt so strong and overwhelming. You're doing more than just dealing with your personal trauma. The unresolved suffering of generations is being alchemized by you. With each breakthrough, you release not just your own strength, but also the energy that has been stored in every selected person who was broken before they could be freed. The sixth insight, which is gaining momentum in the spiritual world, is that your gifts are coming back to you via yourself. Through your waking, the power of every selected individual who was silenced before their time is being released. Your breakthrough is strengthened by each ancestor who carried these scars without curing them. You have the thanks of every future generation that may have inherited these patterns for the chains you are about to break. You're not the only one recovering. With the power of an entire family behind you, you are recovering. In addition to healing wounds, that type of power cauterizes them so they can never recur. However, the most catastrophic discovery is still to come, and it will come from the most unlikely place. Someone you thought was innocuous. Someone you hardly saw out of the corner of your eye. Someone who didn't seem to have anything to do with your recovery. They're going to come forward with facts that will put everything you believed to be true about protection, love, family, and violation in a different light. They will tell you about the meetings you were unaware of, the decisions made about your future while you were asleep, the ways your gifts were given to people who didn't deserve them, and the ways your innocence was traded. They will reveal how your authority was steered into avenues that benefited everyone but you, how your uncertainty was fostered, and how your boundaries were methodically undermined. And when they're done talking, you'll realize that you haven't been recuperating from arbitrary trauma, which is why your healing process has seemed more like archaeology than rehabilitation. For decades, you have been gathering evidence from a crime scene. Get ready for something that is completely illogical. A few of your criminals are going through their own awakening. Not the lovely, freeing sort you're feeling, but the horrifying type that occurs when individuals who have lived their entire lives avoiding the truth are suddenly forced to face unavoidable consequences. Some of them are beginning to recall their own early traumas, the transgressions that made them criminals. They're starting to see how they become victims of a generation-long chain of torture. Even if this doesn't justify what they did to you, it's causing such a level of internal turmoil that some of them are anxious to come clean in order to somehow end the cycle before it utterly kills what little sanity they still have. Some people are going through what can only be called spiritual breakdowns. They are being forced to face parts of themselves that they have been avoiding for their entire lives, and the darkness they deposited in your light is coming back to them with interest. Doctors are unable to identify the unexplained ailments that some people are developing. Some people are experiencing psychological episodes that are unresponsive to psychiatric drugs. Some people are reporting what seems to be supernatural harassment, including hearing voices, feeling as though forces they cannot see but cannot ignore are watching them, and sensing presences. This is not an accident. This is how the universe is adjusting to accommodate your recovery. The shadows they attempted to conceal in your radiance are being compelled to return to their rightful owners as you recover your stolen light. Additionally, this resurgence of suppressed shadow material is causing an internal torment that makes confession look like mercy to those who have never learned to confront their own darkness. The seventh and last discovery that will ignite the spiritual world is this: something ancient and unstoppable is being activated by your waking. Every action you take in pursuit of truth sets off reactions in the collective unconscious that make other selected individuals recall who they are. Your recovery is a planetary one, not simply a personal one. Your justice is cosmic, not just personal. Additionally, those who abused your innocence are starting to realize that they have wronged more than one youngster. They launched war on a power with flawless memory and boundless patience. With a fear that keeps them up at night, they are beginning to realize that selected ones don't follow the laws of everyday life. We remember, we don't go on. Sleeping pets are not tolerated by us. Our basic nature is made to uncover what has been hidden, to expose what has been covered, to bring hidden things into the light. They believed they could mistreat someone they had chosen and then carry on with their regular lives as if nothing had occurred. They're learning that they might as well have attempted to keep things from God. For them, the most horrifying revelation is that your awakening is causing a ripple effect across the whole network of those who participated in your torture. All of the people who assisted, concealed, or ignored the system that hurt you are beginning to feel the weight of the truth bearing down on their meticulously crafted lies. A sort of cosmic audit is being triggered by your healing, going over every choice they made and every instance in which they opted for complicity over bravery. As they become aware that the barriers of quiet they put in place to protect you from your abuse are coming down, some of them are already beginning to turn against one another whenever they put their comfort ahead of your protection. The conspiracy, which at one point seemed so strong and unflappable, is now showing itself to be nothing more than shared guilt and cowardice. And their house of cards keeps collapsing as you keep getting stronger and your light keeps growing. The phone is about to ring for this reason. Confessions are about to flow because of this. This explains why the well-crafted lies are starting to crumble under their own weight. The panic attacks are increasing, and the dreams are getting worse. I have to cut this transmission short for a second. Have you been selected? Show it. Watching videos regarding selected ones is simple. Putting yourself to the test is a quite different matter. One thing became evident to me when I faced the archons outside of our reality. Genuine selected ones are uncommon. The idea of us running into each other made them laugh. You are viewing this message, nevertheless. Not everyone who claims to be awakened is a member of the Obsidian Inner Order. Those of us who have seen past the curtain, heard the call, and possess the unmistakable frequency are the true ones. Are you really one of us, though? I have given it my all for you. And to bring you even more, I'm going deeper. Don't only watch content from a distance. Act now, true selected ones. Join our weekly group call to share your story. Our resident card reader can provide you with an insightful tarot reading. Find out if your experiences match the real indicators. Glowing star yearning to witness God's miracles firsthand? Plant your spiritual seed now by contributing $100 or more through the YouTube Super Thanks button. Your offering lights the path for others and echoes through His divine plan, bringing His light into every step you take. Recognizing one another is the greatest fear of the archons. Our frequencies intensify when we unite, producing an unstoppable power. To find every last one of us, we will be live streaming to the full Astral Atom Network. In the description below, click the link. It's time to quit speculating and validate your suspicions. Are you really selected, or are you just interested in waking up? Show it. Come along. The Obsidian Inner Order has the confirmation you're looking for. Because those who are chosen alchemize, not simply heal. We turn violation into victory, trauma into wisdom, and poison into medicine. Not only do we break generational curses when we finally realize the entire extent of what was done to us, but we also burn them so thoroughly that they will never be able to rise again. In this equation, you were never the victim. The undercover spy was you. Your disguise was your innocence. Your training came from your trauma. Additionally, your healing is the activation of a mission that was initiated before to your birth. Unknowingly, everyone who caused you pain was helping you get ready for this time. You were immune to deceit with each betrayal. You learned to spot predators before they hit you with each infraction. Your dedication to clarity became stronger with each moment of uncertainty. They believed that they were shattering you, but in reality, they were molding you into something that was unbreakable, unstoppable, and unshakable. About to become living examples of the power of your light are the very people who attempted to extinguish it. When they can no longer handle the burden of their secrets, some will come clean in public. Others will destroy themselves in such a dramatic way that their demise serves as a warning to anyone who might think about attacking those they have chosen. Some may want to put things right, but they will find that genuine justice calls for much more than merely saying sorry. You won't have to do anything to make this happen, which is the most exquisite twist in this cosmic play. Your straightforward dedication to the truth, your steady progress toward wholeness, your decision to no longer bear their shame, without you doing anything to stop them. These self-love actions are causing waves in reality that are tearing down their life factory. In its simplest form, this is divine justice. Natural consequences resulting from cosmic principles they decided to break when they targeted someone the cosmos had placed under particular protection, rather than punishment meted out from without. Now, selected one, you stand on the threshold of total recall. The phone will soon ring. The confessions are going to start coming out. The proof will soon come to light. The truth is going to set you free, as well as every other chosen person who has ever been silenced, every innocent person who has ever been defiled, and every gift that has ever been taken and twisted for evil ends. You will also comprehend with crystal clarity why you were selected for this mission, why you survived what should have destroyed you, and why your healing process has seemed more like battle training than therapy after the dust settles from the discoveries that are about to change your world. Because it was precisely that. Your reluctance to keep their secrets any longer is the first step in the fight to free the chosen ones everywhere, not your anger. with your dedication to the truth, not with your retaliation, not out of hate, but out of compassion for all innocent souls who should be shielded from predators posing as caregivers. You are on the verge of becoming everything the cosmos always knew you were and everything they feared you might become. An unstoppable force for truth, justice, and healing in a world in dire need of all three. The truth is coming to light. Nothing will ever be the same again, and the chosen one is awakening.